Hi guys. This particular session is all about showing a typical user journey in Sitecore, and then to show how we can see different user interactions, like what different activities has been done by user, what different campaigns has been triggered. So it is all about like showing a complete journey, like end to end kind of, say, you can think of like wherein the user starts as an anonymous contact, and then over a period of time he becomes a customer, then to happy customer. So we're going to see all those different activities and what all those activities via outcomes, and then we'll also see what goals has been triggered and what campaigns has been triggered by this particular contact and all those. So those kind of things we are going to cover as part of this video. So when we talk about user journey, so as you can see, like this is the same PPT which I have used as part of our presentation during SUCON India event. So a journey is a complete series of experiences that customers go through during their life cycle, and includes all of the interaction with the brand and organization. So in short, if I say like the user journey is all about the kind of data which I am seeing, the kind of things which has been presented to me by the brand, right? Because as an user, Ankit, I may have some preferences, right? And I may have some characteristics. And similarly, if a different user is if a different user is coming to a brand website, he may have a different feature set, characteristics, and all those different stuff. So if both the users are going to see the same kind of content, it really doesn't make sense unless and until we both share same features and same characteristics, right? So as long as the features are all same, we share the same qualities. If we see the same content, that really makes sense. But we also have to think about the point when, as a user, I have different preferences, different characteristics. Different users have different characteristics. So the brand and the website basically needs to identify the kind of visitors are visiting their website and what their preferences are. So accordingly, they can alter the experiences in their brand website, right? So that's how we have to see. So that's why it is mentioned here is a complete series of experiences that customers go through. So when you talk about experiences, it includes the kind of pages which you're visiting, the path which you are taking, the kind of goals which you're participating. Let's say if you're filling some form, if you're subscribing for some newsletter and all those things. Also, those are different kinds of experience which as an end user I may experience, but as an end user, as a different end user, maybe he will not experience the same thing, right? He may have a different brand website may present something else to that user based on their preferences and their characteristics, right? So that kind of thing is all about user journey. It is also important to understand each stage of the customer journey, so yeah, you can evaluate whether you engage them in the right channel for that stage with the right message and content, right? So when we talk about a typical user journey, so this is anyways this particular diagram has been taken from Sitecore site only. So if you see, this is a typical journey where we start with awareness. So awareness is something user make up his mind that he's really looking for something. Then he started doing some research. Then when he in the process of doing some research, he came up with a few options. Now he has to basically evaluate that which option really make more sense for his need, right? So then he finally make up his purchase. So purchase, let's say maybe we can take an example of a travel site. That's what even I'm going to showcase as part of this demo. So let's say as part of this purchase, he finally booked one package, right? He purchased one package, and finally when we talk about users, which means from this travel domain perspective, you can think of like he finally goes for a vacation, and like he enjoys his time off. And then advocacy is all about like once he is back from his vacation, then he can provide his he can provide his feedback, whether the positive feedback, constructive feedback, and all those things, right? So this is a typical journey, and it is really important when we talk about journey in digital business. We have to basically see what different steps we have there, and what is the if we are really using the right channel for the right stage or not, right? So that is also equally important to consider. Another thing when we talk about user journey is segments, right? So segments is really a very important a very important part when we talk about a complete personalization journey, right? A segment is a group of visitors who share similar characteristics and have been determined to benefit from the same experience. So in short, a segment is a group of people you can think of, right? So a group of people, let's say, I as an user Ankit, my preference is like I like my favorite color is red, right? I like to travel. I'm an international traveler, right? So those kind of those these are some of the things which are strictly they basically showcase me that okay, as an Ankit, he likes international travel and from his hotel preference and all those things. Maybe as an user XYZ, he may also have same characteristic what I process, right? So which means Ankit and that specific user, we both are same. So similarly, let's say when we let's take an example from a brand website. We have 100 different users coming to your website, and then out of 100, maybe we can make a group of 20 users have same features, then same characteristics, and then 20 users have different features, different characteristics, and all those things. So the important part here is we really have to understand what different kinds of segments we are expecting as part of our business. So as an example, we can think of like a new user is also a kind of segment, returning user is also a kind of segment, interested visitor is also a kind of segment, and purchaser is also a kind of segment. So that once we identify that we have new user, returning user, interested visitor, and purchaser, we can actually customize it, and we can basically present we can change the experience for these segments accordingly. So which means we don't have to have a same experience for these different kinds of users, right? So if you take an example, if as an user X, when I'm coming for the brand website for the first time, I may have one kind of experience. Now when I'm coming for the second time, and it is not necessary that I have to basically have the brand website has to deliver the same kind of experience which I have already seen in my previous visit, right? So those kind of things really matter when we talk about the journey, and then improving the user journey as well, and uh, the ROI part. So those things are really important, and then it is not something like we can just in one like we can just in 1 hour we can come up with all our segments, and then we can prepare the complete matrix and all those things. So it really needs some time, and that is but this activity is really worth when we talk about when we talk about basically forming a complete user journey in Sitecore. And I'm not sure if you guys know that I think day before yesterday I think yesterday only we had a session from Alison Sainsbury from Sitecore. She talks about like the importance of segments and importance of forming a digital metrics, in importance of understanding the kind of customers which we may expect in our brand, because that is really important. And because once we know that these are the target segments we have to target, then only we can show the relevant content to those users, right? So that is really important, and this is something we really have to do, because if you're going for Sitecore and then we are not talking about understanding a complete user journey. So which means if we are just using Sitecore as in plain CMS, from my perspective, I don't think it is really worth to go for Sitecore if you're not utilizing like all these features which Sitecore provides out of box. And yes, you really have to think about it. So let's not go more into the PPT part, because this is already there, it is available in the Sucon website. So let's just directly jump into the demo. So from demo perspective, as I already mentioned, the focus here is I'm just going to show you a complete user journey for one user, and how like the user starts from an anonymous contact, and then he becomes a sales lead, then he becomes a customer, then he becomes a kind of a customer, then he finally becomes happy customer, right? So these are some of the things which we are capturing via outcomes, and outcomes can be configured in in marketing control panel, and you can have those monetary values configured for that. But as part of this demo, we don't have any monetary value defined for those outcomes, but the only reason we have those outcomes here, so that we can see the different phases of that particular user, right, where exactly he is. So that's what we are going to do. And to start with, what we are going to do is, let's take an example, like as an user, uh, Anil, I'm going to Google, and then because I'm interested into some travel packages, so I'll just go to Google and then I'll search for some travel packages like travel destination Kashmir, in case if I'm interested in Kashmir. And similarly, you can have different keywords for that. So let's say if I search for travel destination Kashmir, and then I get a list of options as an organic search. So once I click on one of the item from the organic search, it lands to a page, and that's the page which we are going to show. We just assume that that's the page the user is going to land on, right? So because we cannot have that we cannot basically mimic that behavior in local, because we cannot have those Google thing here. So we have referral control for it, so that we can also target the keyword which has been used by used by our end user to come to this website. So let me just take this, copy this. So as I mentioned, the thing which we're going to do here is, user has entered some keyword, travel destination Kashmir, and then he gets a list of items. And once he click on one of the item from his organizer, he's going to land to this page, which is nothing but sitecore.com/resorts. So once I click on that, let's load it. Okay, so here we go. Right, so this is the first visit from let's say, when we talk about user journey. So this is the first visit for that user. And yeah, so we have a header here, we have a banner component here. Then if you scroll down, we have some text here. Then if you scroll down, we have a component. Then we have three different items here. This is basically nothing but travel destination callouts you can think of, where we have information about a specific location, maybe Kashmir, Singapore, and all those stuff. And then if you scroll down, we have some more text. Again, we can add more details. This is highlight text. It's pretty straightforward static text for now. This is footer and compare text. So this is what we have from the first visit. So the only thing which I just want to focus here is, as part of this component, uh, the user, right? So from user perspective, we have given one download link, which means if user is really interested to know more about any specific travel location, he can click on this download link, and then he can download the PDF, and then he can just read through it. And if he's really interested on that, he can contact to this particular brand. Similarly, if he download this one, he can again read through it. So as of now, as part of this first visit, what we are going to do is, we're just going to click on the download link. So once we click on download, we are going to see a PDF, which is a pretty basic PDF. We don't have anything on that. I've just added one image there. Right, so this is just pretty straightforward PDF, nothing complex, just one image we have there. Let me just close it. Another thing which I just want to mention, when user clicked on this download link, there is a goal which actually getting triggered. And the engagement value, I think it is set to 10 there. So we are evaluating the total engagement points for that particular content for that visit, so that accordingly, if we have to make some customization, or if we have to again change the experience of that user for that visit, we can do that based on the engagement points we have from that visit for that specific user. Now, if we scroll up, I just want to talk about a little bit about this banner component also. This is a dynamic banner component we can, as of now we have not changed it, but in just in case if we really want to change it based on based on the keyword which has been used by end user on onto the search results page, so we can again personalize it. But so as part of this first visit we haven't personalized it, but yes, we can, if required, we can really do that. So pretty much that's it from the first visit. Now so this is what we have from the first visit. One more thing which I want to tell you here is, let me just go to Sitecore. Okay, so there are a few things which I want to show you before we proceed further on this demo. So if I click on list manager, we have created three different kinds of list. We have a contact list, we have a known contact list, and then we have a happy customer list. So if I go here, so we have a known contact list, we have customer contact list, and we have a happy customer contact list. So known contact list is something which will get populated when someone like when we get some known contact. So that's where that particular contact will get registered to this known contact list. When a customer actually become when a contact become a customer, so at that point of time that particular contact is added to the customer contact list. And then when a customer becomes a happy customer, then that particular user is will get added to the happy customer list, and then it will be removed from customer contact list and known contact list simultaneously. And then because this why exactly we have come up with this list manager, so that we can use this list manager in EXM to basically to start to do any campaigning based on different kinds of content which we have here, right? So that is what we can do. Another thing which I want to show you is marketing automation. So we have a pretty basic marketing automation plan in place. So if I just click on that marketing automation plan, so again, this is pretty basic, there is nothing complex here, but this is just to give you an example that when we talk about user journey, we can also leverage marketing automation plan, and there are several things which we can do, which we can do, and we can automate it using marketing automation, because there are several things we can do out of the box here in marketing automation, which will basically save your time. So here, like the plan which we have here is like, we have, as you know, that for every marketing automation plan we have a start and then we have an end, then we have different events there. So first thing is send email, then we have an outcome register, we are checking for several outcomes, then we are checking if the outcome has been registered, then we are adding that particular contact to the customer contact list. If this particular outcome is registered, then we are removing it from known contact list, because that's the first time that user will get added to the known contact list. Anyways, maybe it is not very much clear at this point of time, but when we move further with our demo, it will become very easy for you to understand it. Then we send an email, then again we are checking for one more outcome, if the user has become a happy customer or not. Then if the user has become a happy customer, then that user contact gets added to happy customer contact list, and it will get removed from from customer contact list. And then finally the flow here ends, right? And if we go to the report view, we can also see the different report, but so far we don't have any active contact here, because if you see the start contact rule, what the rule how exactly contact will be a part of this automation plan, only when a contact becomes a member of this contact list, which is nothing but a known contact list, which means a contact has to provide his or her details, and then only he gets added to this automation plan, and then only we can start tracking all those activities. So another thing I want to show you is, because so far we have just made one visit to this page from that particular from that contact perspective. So let's see what details we have captured so far in experience profile. So if we go in the experience profile, we can see we have one anonymous contact, which is like pretty fair, because it is just anonymous. The user has not shared any details so far. If we just click on anonymous thing to know more details about this anonymous contact, we can see like it is just an unknown contact so far, because he hasn't shared any details, because this is a marketing like funnel management we have in Sitecore. Then if we go to the activity tab, and if we go to, yeah, we can see the different we have different options here. If we click on outcomes, no outcomes, there are no outcomes so far, that is fine. Then if you click on goals, we can see like okay, so far no goal because it is taking some time to basically flush that to XDB, so it will take like it will be there shortly. And if you click on the marketing automation keywords, it is still not here because the contact has not been registered to that contact list. Then if you click on the keyword, we can see here, let's wait for it to load. Yeah, we can see the search term has been used Kashmir's, and that's the reason I was telling you that time that if we really want to personalize something based on the keyword which has been used by user, so we can always use the search term and personalize the experience for your visitors. So yeah, so far this is what we have from the experience profile. So yeah, we will again come back to this profile section, but before that, let's go to the website. Okay, so now let's assume so first visit is already been over. Now after a week, maybe the user is again coming back to your brand website because he's kind of into like research stage or evaluation stage, you can think of, in his complete journey. So he again goes to your again lands to your resorts, right? So another thing, we now you have to see, you if you observed it before, there was a different banner here, but now the banner got changed. So currently the condition which has been used by to change this banner is like, if it is basically, we're checking it based on the visit, right? So if it is not a first visit, then we basically change it. And then secondly, there is also one condition which has been added, that if the query string, like if the keyword which has been used by user from an organic search perspective, if it is Kashmir or something else, right? So similarly, you can also have those kind of conditions in place, and you can personalize the content. So that's where we see a change in experience for the same user as part of second visit. Now, if you scroll down, we have again this is a pretty straightforward text. Then, if you scroll down, another thing you'll notice that initially, as part of the first visit, we had only 3 items here, but now it's the second visit, and now we have 9 different items. So the reason we had 9 different items, because business understand that, as because this is one kind of segment which we are talking about. If you remember, initially we talked about different kinds of segment we have to target. So this at this point of time, you can think of this particular segment is nothing but a returning users segment. And then if it is really a returning user, then business want to basically engage that user, because if he's really coming, if he's taking his time and he's putting all his efforts, he's coming back to the website again, which means he's really interested to know more about different options which has been provided by this particular brand. So that's the reason we have all different kinds of travel packages, and without being asked by that user, we are explicitly providing details about different holiday options. So again, if, as I mentioned, the user is really interested, so he will again go back to each item, and then he will try to get some details about it, so that he can take a decision that which package is really good for his budget and for his family. So he's just clicking on different options, and then he can make some choice. Let me just click on the fourth item also, right? So another thing which I want to show here is, see, as a user, I clicked on, as a user Anil, like I clicked on first download, second download, third download, and fourth download, right? And with every download, there was a goal which was getting triggered, which has an engagement value of 40. And we also had a condition that if it is like a specific segment, and if for this segment, if the engagement value is so and so, then let's try to engage this user, right? Because if user is showing this some, because when user clicks on all these different download, which means user is showing some level of commitment towards this brand website, because he's really interested. That's the reason he's actually clicking on those download link, because otherwise, simply, if I don't have any interest, simply I'll not just go to this website, and on top of it, I'll not download each and every brochure, right? Because if I'm really interested on it, so that's the reason I'm clicking on every brochure. When this is a real user, then at that point of time, from the business perspective, that's the business responsibility to try to engage that user, because now they are actually trying to get a potential lead. So now in this case, maybe what we can do, we can just put all his detail, nil at right? And then let me just put the fine. Then we can have some call dates, whatever we want. Job title we can put, age we can put something, gender we can put name, right? So these are the pretty basic information which we have asked for this user. And again, based on the requirement, you can, like, we can have more we can ask more details to your visitor, from your visitor. Then once user populates all the things he fills in the form, then just click on start the journey. And then what happens right now is, there is an email which goes to an admin, and there is an email which goes to this particular user also. And from here, like, we can see, thanks for your message, our representative will contact you shortly. So this is what the user has done as part of second visit. Now if you see, the user has been converted from an anonymous contact to a known contact, because the same user, this is a second visit, and he has entered some of his detail, which basically helps us in identifying that particular contact. So that's the reason he gets changed from an unknown or anonymous contact to known contact. Okay, now, so what happens when user clicks on this submit, right? When he submits the form, so what happens is, let me just we can just close it. Then let me go to Millinator. Okay, so if I go to here, Millinator, and let me search email, let me search. Right, so now, yeah, we can see here, so there is an email which gets triggered using EXM. If I click on that, right? So hi Anil, thanks for your interest and all those things. We are pleased to inform you that your call will happen and all those things. And then we also give him an option to basically explore different offers which has been provided by this brand website. And then if Anil clicks on this offers page, he actually lands to an offers page which is part of your brand website. And then another thing which you notice here is, we have a campaign ID here. So basically that way we can actually track that how many different kinds of users are actually coming from your which from which coming from which campaign, right? So this is the campaign which is specific to some promotion which I have created in this specific case. So that will basically help us to identify the effectiveness of your campaigns also. Now if we go back to Sitecore, and then let's try to check experience profile. Okay, so now another thing which you'll notice here is, previously the user was anonymous, but now that user got converted to a known contact. So that's the reason we can see his details over here. Another thing to note here is, initially he was a unknown contact, and then he becomes a sales lead. So sales lead is nothing but a it is an outcome, right? And then what different activities has been performed between unknown contact to becoming a sales lead. We can see all those different activities here. So we can see, like, we have in goals here, right? So all these different goals has been triggered between so and so date and time. The download brochure was the goal which was triggered on so and so date at so and so time. So those are the things which we can see. Another thing which we can see here is, like, we have different kinds of events which has been captured, like email sent, email opened, sales lead is an outcome here. So download brochure, if I click on activity, here you can see different kinds of activities which has been performed. So currently the user is into sales lead, right? So that is an outcome which has been triggered. So that outcome has been triggered explicitly from the development team, so that once the user submits the form, we can say that, okay, that currently this particular user into sales lead, so that we can take some actions when needed. Campaigns, if we go, like, we can see, like, we have two different kinds of campaigns. One campaign is request for call. So this campaign is actually coming from your EXM, and this promotion offer, again, this is a campaign which has been created separately, but it is part of your EXM email body. So that's the reason we see this campaign also as part of your campaigns. Another thing is goals. You can see like with different kinds of goal which has been triggered here. Like this was the goal which was triggered at the first visit. Then these three different goals got triggered in this part of the second visit. If we click on the marketing automation campaign, we can see like outcome has been registered, right? So this is the now. If you remember, like when that marketing automation will get activated when outcome is registered, right? So that's where you see the latest state is currently is into outcome registered. So basically that's the current state, but this marketing automation plan actually executed as soon as user submits the form and he becomes a part of your contact list, right? So that's where your marketing automation plans gets executed, and then the current state of this plan is that he's into that it is currently into outcome registered phase. So yeah, that also we'll see, and keywords anyways we have seen it. So let's quickly go to marketing automation plan and marketing automation, right? You can see like one enrolled contact here. So if you click on that, so yeah, this is fine. Let's go to the report. So now here you can see, right? So here you see we have only one contact which is part of your contact, what we call it, this is your outcome registered, right? So it is actually waiting for it is waiting for an event to get triggered, outcome registered. I'll just show you when we go out of it. So if you click on this view contact, you can see this the current contact which is part of your automation plan now, and the current state is that it is waiting for this event to happen. If you go back, right, this is an outcome register. So this is it is actually waiting for this outcome to get registered. And what is this outcome? When this particular contact becomes a customer, so as soon as this particular contact becomes a customer, it will basically add that contact to customer contact list, and it will remove from known contact list. Because if we at this point of time, if we go to your list manager known contact list, we will see this particular user, that is Anil. But as we are waiting for this outcome to register, so then this particular user gets added to customer contact list. Currently this user is not a customer, it is just a known contact from brand perspective. Okay, so another thing, so now what happens is, you can take an example like after making a second visit, you basically you completely forget about this brand, right? And then after a month or after 2 months, something like you are when you're browsing your social media site like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and all those stuff, then you suddenly get the pop-up, right? And you get a push notification kind of stuff. And as part of that push notification, you again you start getting those details like what things you have visited, as part of your visit 1 and visit 2. Because as part of your visit 1 and visit 2, you have visited this brand website, you have visited some pages. So that's where this push notification starts coming in as part of your regular browsing activities. So it is not something like you have to visit your brand website and then only these push notifications will come. It is irrespective of it is basically irrespective of your brand website. And those push notification is something which will be controlled from your, we have different third parties from where we can have those integration, and we can start getting those notification. But as part of this demo, we are assuming that we will do it from our brand website only, because we don't have those things automated. So if I go back to my website now, right? So now if no sorry, let me just go to home page. So if I go to home page now, let's just see. Right, so now you can see like we have this push notification here. So what this push notification, it is just basically an indication that okay, that there are some offers which has been which are going on onto this brand website. And then if user is really interested at this point of time also, he can make use of those offers. And this as of at this point of time, this push notification is coming as part of a brand website, but it is not always the case. Even you get this push notification when you are browsing your Twitter account or your LinkedIn and all that, anything, right? So but as of now it is not automated, so that's the reason that it has been developed statically from brand website homepage. So okay, now if if user is really interested, what he can do is he can actually click on this offer, because he's really interested to see, okay, no, that he was actually interested on this particular brand, for because there were some of the packages which he was really interested, but just because of it was too expensive, he was not able to make a call at that point of time. But now, as the brand has offered some offers, so he really want to make use of it, so he just clicked on that offer. Now, so now what happens, as soon as user clicks on the push notification which has some offer details, he lands to the brand website. And now another thing which gets added here is a keyword offer. Right now, what we can do is we can again try to change the experience of that particular contact for that visit based on the keyword which we are getting. See, similarly, what we can do here, we have one thing, right? Um, we have we have tried to change the experience of this page via keyword. But what we can also do here is we can try to personalize, or we can try to change the experience of this particular page for this contact based on a different campaign. So which means the push notification which we get, right? So that maybe that is some kind of, we can do it via campaign also, and then here we can have those campaign IDs, and then we can try to personalize it, or change the experience based on that campaign ID. So that way, again, as I mentioned before, it helps to basically check the efficiency of what different campaigns are running, and where which campaign needs optimization. So but yeah, so that is one thing which you can do. But as of now, let's just focus on a keyword. So the keyword has been used to change the experience of this visit, and then we have different offer details. Now from here, what user will do is user will just click to pay. So for this demo, our assumption is, because we don't have this payment integration in place, then active payment integration. So we'll just assume that as soon as user clicks on click to pay button, he actually completed the transaction. That's what we are going to assume, right? And when, as soon as the user clicks on click to pay, he is going to make an payment, and then that point of time he becomes a customer from a known contact, because he has successfully completed the transaction. So if we click on click to pay, right, so we are now into a payment page, and we have some dummy some order number which user can use for his reference. So now what happens, as soon as the user has completed the payment, which means he has actually become a customer. Now at this point of time, we have there is one more outcome which has got triggered, right? So that's what we are also going to see. But yes, but from this demo perspective, as soon as the user is lands through this payment page, which means he has completed the transaction, which means he has now become an actual customer from a known contact. He is no more a known contact now. He is now a full-fledged customer. Okay, so now if we go to Mailinator from here to just see what really happens behind the scene, and then I can just show you. Okay, so if I go to Mailinator here, and if I go to email, and if I go to this, and let me search funnel. Right, so now we have thank you. Right, so we have a thank you email, which means the customer, like the contact has been converted from your known contact to customer. So that's the reason we just have a thank you email, and again it is part of your EXM. So if we go to your Sitecore and marketing automation, and if you go to the report view, we can see that particular contact is currently into this state, right? So if we click on this state, go to view contacts, we have this Anil here. And what is this state? This is again one outcome which he is still waiting for. He is still waiting for this outcome to trigger. And what is this outcome? This outcome is, if you click on this, we can just see, like, this outcome is actually waiting for this contact to become or this customer to become a satisfied customer, right? So that is again one outcome we have registered. And so far, what the thing which is already been processed is that contact was added to customer contact list, that contact was removed from known contact list, and then we have already sent an email campaign message to this user, which I just showed you. So this is a campaign message which is coming as part of this send email task, and then it is waiting for this outcome to register now. And when exactly this outcome will get registered, we will see that in a while. Before that, let me just quickly take you to list manager, and then if we see the known contact list, okay, so if we go to the known contact list, currently we are not seeing Anil as part of this list, right? Because this list is a known contact list, but he is not a known contact now. He is actually being converted to a customer. So if we go to customer, we should see Anil here, right? We can see this Anil here because now he is a known customer, right? So this is where it gets over. Now if we go back to experience profile and see what extra we have for this visit now. So if you go to Anil, and right, so now you can see the user started, like he's actually started from unknown, then it becomes a say, like then this particular outcome got registered, this is nothing but a prospect lead, and then finally this user has become a customer. Now anyways, like we can have like what different things he has triggered, executed, and all those things. We can anyways, we have not done all those things because the only thing which we have done is we have just triggered one goal that was at the time when he actually becomes a prospect lead. But after that, we have not triggered any goal. But in case if you think that okay, no, that whatever customer segment you are trying to target, if for that segment there is something like you need to trigger some different kinds of goals and all, you can definitely do that. And then once you do it, then you can start seeing all those things here when that contract has completed that particular stage. Now if we scroll down, we can see all those different things like download brochure, click email link, promotion offer, email sent, email open, and all those stuff. We have one best because so far we just have one pattern created and one profile created. But again, it is really important when we talk about user journey, we need to have a DRM in place. DRM is nothing but your digital relevancy map, which talks about your segments, your and then the stages, and then what different channels has been used, what different activities will be performed by by so and so segment for so and so stage and using so and so channel. So those are the things which comes as part of your DRM, and that is really very important activity when we talk about the complete journey part. And then from the campaign perspective, these are the same three campaigns which we just saw. And if we go to the activity, other things are pretty same. Like you can see, like we have this thank you email, the thank you message, and then we have I think it got couple of times. Okay, if we go to the goals, no change at all. Marketing automation, we can see like it is still into the automation plan, and the current state is outcome registered. Yeah, because it is still waiting for an outcome to get triggered. And campaigns, same thing. Goals, nothing change. Outcomes, you can see we have two different outcomes here. Now we have sales, and finally he has become a customer. So those those are the outcomes which we can see under your outcomes. And the last thing which we are going to do here is, let's say that particular content, Anil has purchased that package, and then he went for his vacation. He had really a nice time, and then finally he came back. So when he came back, he's again going back to, he now from the stage perspective, from the journey perspective, that user is now into an advocacy phase, right? So which means he has to basically provide his feedback, or he basically has to think that he basically has to provide something that what was good, where the brand can improve, and on, because based on his feedback only he may recommend some other guys also, right? So now if we see here, so let's say that user again comes back to this website because he's uh, uh, he's looking for some travel options for his friends or something like that, right? So now as system identifies that this is a known user, he is a known customer, right? It's a known user, it's a known customer. Then let's take his thought, right? Because he has already been a customer now. So when he has already become a customer, he has already completed his journey, his vacation has already been done. So let's get some details from him, and then based on the comment which Anil puts here, again brand can take corrective action that okay, no, if he's really happy, that's fine. If he's not happy, then where actually things went wrong, what was the channel, was the channel not right, was the experience was not proper, was the package itself was not good. So those kind of things which brand will get an option to think over it. But yeah, this is really important to again do some advocacy, because this is currently the advocacy phase. So I can just put like awesome, right? So because I'm really happy with the services which has been provided by this brand. So once I put I can just put all my comments and then again submit it. So once I submit it, what happens is yeah, we just go to a thank you page and all that. So that is pretty straightforward. But the important thing to note here is, as soon as the user submits the form and assuming he is really happy with the services which has been provided, that because he's a customer, but he has become a satisfied customer, right? So that's where we can see. So if we go back to your automation plan, so if I go back to, let me just close it, and if I go back to my, let me just refresh it. Come on. Okay, if I go to my automation plan and if I click on that, if I click on the report view, okay, I think it is still not triggered. It is still taking some time. If I go to the report view, it is still taking some time. Right now you can see there are no active contacts here, right? Because there's no contact which is still waiting, because that particular contact, the last contact which we were dealing with, Anil, that is now become a happy customer, because that's where it was waiting here. Because now he's not a customer, means he's a customer, but he's a satisfied customer. And from the marketing automation plan perspective, the plan which we had put here before, the plan is all over now, because we don't have any other conditions to check here. So which means if we go back here, we can see that the last condition was outcome register, where the plan was checking for that customer to become a satisfied customer. And once he becomes a satisfied customer, he gets added to this customer list, happy customer list, and then he gets removed from customer contact list. So if we quickly go to the list manager and let's go to happy customer list, we should see Anil here, because now he has become a happy customer. Now we see Anil here as a happy customer. That's where we have done using marketing automation. And then if we go back to, that is pretty basic, but let me just go to have customer contact list, and we should not see this Anil here, because that's where the marketing automation has moved this contact from customer to happy customer. So the reason we have this list manager in place, because list manager can work like together with EXM, and then we can have those campaigns emails running for the satisfied customer. And then if we really think that, okay, no, right, the customers are the known contacts which we have currently, we are not seeing any activities from those non contacts. Based on the customer segment which we have, we can again take some corrective, we can again do some, we can run some campaigns, and then we can send those automated emails where we can talk about some promotion offers and all those stuff, right? So those kind of things really will help the visitor. And just lastly, go to experience profile and go to the same contact and see what has been added here. So if we go here, we can see like from unknown contact, he becomes a sales lead, he becomes a customer, and then he becomes finally a satisfied customer. And the activities which has been done by that particular user over a period of time, we can see all those details here. And then again, if you want to make it more rich, we have to come up with the proper planning. Like we have to think about segments, we have to think about your personas, we have to think about your patterns and all those things. So those things are really important when we talk about a customer journey. So pretty much that's it I want to cover, and I think I covered it well. That's what I feel. But yes, if you have anything, if you have any feedback, any comments, feel free to add your comments here. And then yeah, maybe we'll have some more sessions related to this in future. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.